Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today's time for a Zerg versus Protoss, where we find ourselves on... what's this map called again? Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Zerg versus Protoss, where we find ourselves on Moondance. Nailed it. Spotting right here in the bottom right-hand corner, playing with the... what is this? Red Protoss? Come on, Lowko. You got this. Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Zerg versus Protoss, where we find ourselves on Moondance. Now, spotting here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Protoss Pro. This is not blue, guys. This is red. He's from South Korea. He's the rank 1 Protoss in the world, and he goes by the nickname of hero. His opponent in the opposite corner from Italy, playing here with the blue Zerg drones. We are looking at Reynor's main hatch. Alrighty, so Reynor versus hero on Moondance. Obviously, these two are amazing at the game. Reynor obviously has been around in StarCraft 2 for a very long time, and I'm sure you're well familiar with his playstyle because I cast this man pretty much every single week, and I have been for years, I think. I've probably got at least like 100 Reynor casts on the channel, but probably more. Anyways, hero, of course, completed his mandatory military service some time ago, so I guess I haven't been casting him for as long on the channel, just because, well, back when he, like, first... I guess went to the military, I wasn't casting games as frequently, but there's no denying that hero, ever since he's come back, has looked incredible. Obviously, he won the most recent GSL Code S, and, well, I would consider that to be the most difficult tournament in StarCraft 2 to win, with the exception of maybe IAM Katowice, but yeah, there's no denying that the GSL is a very, very tricky tournament. Now, I do think we have to address the elephant in the room. I mentioned this a couple days ago, that Reynor was playing in the GSL. He did not have the best performance, guys. He actually tweeted about it a bunch as well. He was very disappointed with the way that those games turned out. Apparently, what exactly did he call it? Hold up. I think he tweeted about it again. I think either this morning or yesterday. What exactly did he say? Hold up. Yeah, so he's saying 4 hours ago. Well, as of me recording this right now. He tweeted saying, "I'm leaving Korea after possibly one of the biggest disappointments of my career. I really hope I can show that all my preparation actually did something. Looking forward to the TSL." So I believe he's actually flying on over then to the Netherlands right now, because the TSL is going to be taking place over here in the relatively near future. Either way, not the greatest result, but I guess everyone can have an off day, right? And that's the brutal part, I guess, of the GSL too, right? When you're playing in the GSL, it's a tournament that lasts several months. Really, you only need to lose, like, 2 best-of-3s in order to be eliminated from the tournament in, like, the earlier stages of it. And I guess in the later stages, you just need to lose, like, a single best-of-5. Everyone can have an off day, and it definitely did seem like Reynor wasn't having the best of days. Like, just dying to relatively basic attacks. A lot of 2-base shenanigans, actually, so there were a couple of Terran versus Zergs in his group. And it turns out that the Terran players were very happy to go for the command center first into a 2-base all-in. Anyhow. Let's talk about Zerg versus Protoss instead, shall we? So we have a couple of Zerglings right here going into the main base. Reynor scouting exactly what is going on. Already grabbing one of those probes as well, so that's always nice. Link speed is going to finish up in a moment as well, but I don't think that these Zerglings are going to be around to, experience those wings. They have wings, dude. Just spread them. They don't know. Yeah, I don't really know exactly how that makes any sense in the StarCraft universe. Maybe there is a lore explanation for it. But say, for example, you're a Terran player and you research combat shields. Suddenly, your Marines whip out a shield. Where does that shield come from? Did they carry it all along? Do the Stalkers just randomly remember how to use Blink? Like, where's the logic in it? Actually, I guess if you want to be more realistic, you should probably only have those upgrades available for, like, units that come out after you finish the... But that would be stupid, obviously. Anyhow, maybe there's a lore explanation. Maybe someone can let me know down below in the comment section of the video. I've wondered about this more times than I am willing to admit, but not enough to actually, like, look it up. So, you guys are my Google for today. Thank you. Appreciate you. Although I don't think I'm going to be able to Google that very easily anyways. These are the kind of things that keep me up at night, okay? Give me a break. Anyways, 2 kills right there on that Oracle. Nothing all too crazy. There is a second Oracle available too. That one's flying across right now to try and join up with the first one. Overlord positioning here, though, is great, right? So Reynor can have himself a little bit of time to prepare for those Oracles. He's got 2 queens in the main, 2 queens in the third. And just like that, he's going to be able to push back these units without really too much trouble. Good start right here for the Italian. Getting a worker kill is, I mean, it's only a single worker. Oh, what did I do? Well, this is a disaster of a cast. It's early in the morning over here in the Netherlands. I should probably be redoing this, but you know what? I don't really want... I know a lot of people actually enjoy watching the live bloopers, okay? This is like, you know how like movies back in the day, back in my day, right? When I was a youngster, back in my day, we used to have blooper reels at the end of movies every once in a while. And honestly, those were my favorite parts. So, I guess you get to experience the live bloopers, okay? There's actually a lot of casts where it takes me sometimes literally a dozen attempts to just say the first sentence of a video. So I'll be trying to like, you know, say the words of hello everyone, welcome back to another StarCraft cast, and for some reason I just can't. It gets worse as well. Like sometimes the third time I try it out, for some reason it becomes even more of a disaster. Anyway, speaking of disasters, he's gonna commit with one of the adepts. Okay. 3 oracles in the main base being incredibly annoying. As a Protoss player, your dream is to get 2 digits worth of drone kills in the early game. That would be fantastic here. Don't lose the Oracle. Obviously, you don't want to lose any units here in the process. I mean, maybe an Adept or 2 is fine, but you got to be very careful. Now, there's actually really not that many units available for the Protoss player to defend at home. This could actually be a problem. He's going to have to create like a second wall, I suppose. He could also warp in a few additional units. Instead, he decides to wall himself in entirely. Fair enough. Yeah. I think a sentry a little bit sooner probably would have made things a bit easier. Anyway, herO has decided to go for the Nexus right here in the bottom right-hand corner. And this will allow him to get that nice economical boost. But keep in mind, this is only a 6 mineral field base, so opposed to the regular 8, and also only a single gas geyser. But of course, herO, he's the one that really popularized that heavy gateway style. He really does not need any more than 4 gases here for the time being. I haven't actually seen a lot of herO's Protoss versus Zerg lately, so this man is considered to have the best PvZ in the world. Especially like a month or 2 ago. But it feels to me that over the last month or 2, he really hasn't played a lot of Protoss versus Zerg. Especially in the GSL Code S, he was just playing PvPs and PvTs. So I haven't actually had an update on where his PvZ is currently at. Maybe he's been, developing it too. And obviously, when he first started playing that heavy Stalker Zealot playstyle, it took a bit for Zerg players to realize, wait a second, this is something you can do? Like, you're allowed to just swarm me? I'm supposed to be the swarm player, right? I'm supposed to be the one who's outproducing you. And I guess Zerg players now have had several months to figure out what the best approach is against that sort of playstyle. So, a couple things to note here. Reynor going already into the +2 melee. That's very quick. So, +2 melee will benefit the Zerglings, Ultras, and the Banelings. I think for now, though, it's just going to be benefiting those Zerglings. And Zerglings are amazing when it comes to cleaning up, especially that heavy Stalker ball, though. So I think herO at this point has probably already clicked on a bunch of those Zerglings. He's seen the amounts of Zerglings that there are available. This is only half of it. There's another clump right over here. Well, yeah, it's about half. Anyhow, 51 Zerglings available at this point in the game. I really don't think that you can push as the Protoss player at this point, especially when +2 melee finishes up. Secondly, though, Zerg players have also they've become rather keen, I was gonna say, on going into lurkers. So we see a lot of Zerg players right now rushing up towards a hive, getting a couple of Vipers out, and then transitioning towards lurker play instead. So historically, lurkers were never really used against Protoss, because, well, over the last couple of years, before the heavy gateway meta, hold that thought, actually. Blink is available, should be able to get on out of there. This is not looking too hot, though, here for herO. Pulsar beams are activated, but the Archons are trailing very far behind. Yeah, in the end, actually, that wasn't that much of a disaster. I thought that would be really bad. +2 melee, not done yet. Anyways, over the last couple of years, of course, in Protoss versus Zerg, we saw that heavy focus around Skytles units, and it turns out lurkers can't shoot up. So, yeah, you don't really see a lot of lurker play against Skytles. I mean, we saw it every once in a while to get rid of some runbys and all that sort of thing, but in general, I would say that lurkers are not the most commonly played unit in this matchup, but recently they've become really popular because, well, they're very good when it comes to cleaning out those Stalkers and Zealot balls. So curious to see where this is going to go right now from herO, who's playing, compared to like a month or 2 ago, he's really playing a lot more passively. He's still expanding incredibly rapidly, of course. I mean, we're 9 minutes into the game, and that is the 5th Nexus finishing up. His expansion rate is still ridiculous, but he's not playing as aggressively right now with the army that he's got. Mostly because I guess Zerg players here have gotten better at countering this sort of thing. So he did go into the fleet beacon, but he's already finished up, I like this, he's already finished up the robo facilities. And he's now chrono boosting out 2 of those disruptors at once. So it seems to me that the Stalker Zealot Ball is mostly just a stepping stone to go towards Disruptor Tempest, Disruptor Carrier, something along those lines. And obviously if Zerg at that point is stuck on Hydraling Bane, with maybe some, you know, actually there's no Banes. But if he's stuck on like Hydraling with Lurker support, yeah, it makes the game a little bit trickier. I am surprised actually that there's no Banelings, but maybe at this point in the game, Reynor can't really afford it yet. So yeah, there's the Baneling that's going up, okay. Makes sense. So he's going into Lurkers first, he's getting all of the Zergling upgrades first too, and then finally he transitions towards a bunch of those Banes as well. At this point though, Zerglings are very strong. Yeah. Couple of Lurkers only. You can see Vipers coming up right now too. So I actually thought he would go for Vipers first. There was a little bit of a disconnect between the... maybe it was just for Adrenal Glands? He rushed up towards the Hive faster than he had the Lurker Den for. But I guess it was mostly then to get the Adrenal Glands upgrade going. So that's about a 40% attack speed Reynor! That's about a 40% attack speed improvement. Anyways, Reynor constantly backstabbing with those Zerglings, right? This is something that he popularized back when he first came up as a StarCraft player a few years ago. He pretty much always has a large group of units on the other side of the map to try and be as obnoxious as possible. Anyhow, all the roads eventually do lead towards Skytos. But compared to what we normally used to see in this matchup, now hero is mining off of 5 bases. So I think he got himself all of those Nexi going off of just 4 gases, and then he decided to, okay, grab everything, right? So gas is your main limiting resource when you're going into, yeah, that ultimate Protoss Death Bowl, but I guess shame that there's no extra gas over in this expansion, right? That would definitely be a little bit better. He keeps throwing away Zealots over here. Not a huge fan of that. These have not achieved anything. Yeah, nothing too amazing. Now the Lurker Ball is available, though. There's those Vipers up in the air, too, and quite a few Queens. Okay. He wants to abduct units, right? That's the goal. Oh, good feedbacks. Beautiful feedbacks right there from hero. Okay, Transfuse is trying to keep as much of this alive, but good hits once again there by the Korean Protoss. A lot of Zerglings on the other side of the map, but yeah, the Mama Ship. All right. Coming in clutch. Obviously, the mothership cloaks everything that's underneath, and, well, there's not enough available to shoot that thing out of the sky. And definitely no detection in that Zerg army either. Still, this choke point over here is, yeah, really not something that hero can just march down, right? So he's gonna go into a second Cybercore instead. He's going for +1 flyer attacks. Would have liked to see that one start up a little bit sooner, if I'm being honest. But at the same time, he's also getting himself the Forge upgrades, and now he's transitioning towards couple of the shields as well after finishing up +3 attack. Okay, Disruptors once again have a cooldown available. Expected that to be a little bit more successful, to be honest. Good abductions right there from the Zerg. Lurkers being as annoying as possible too. This little overseer providing the high ground vision. The same time that hit squad that was on the other side of the map got cleaned up as well here by the Protoss. Very nicely done. And I think it's going to be difficult here for Protoss to continuously expand. So he's trying to take the base over there on the mini-map at, like, what is that? Like the 2 o'clock-ish? 2:30-ish position? Yeah, this gets spotted right away. How exactly are you going to be able to hold on? I mean, you can try. But I think one of the reasons why you can defend this section quite well here as Protoss is because you've got that high ground advantage. Beautiful grenades. Zealot run by on the left side of the map. Being annoying, but once again gets cleaned up. Yeah, so resource lost-wise, I actually don't think I like this too much here for hero. But he is making that ultimate death bowl, right? He is going into the carriers right now. Even though, yeah, the mothership actually cloaking the natural is one of the sickest moves. We don't normally see this. I love this as well. Look at that. Couple of Dark Templar coming in clutch together with those Zealots, right? The Zealots didn't clear the job, but apparently the DTs do. No detection available for now. Would love to see a recall. Okay. Yeah, so hero definitely has taken a more relaxed approach to playing this sort of style that, you know, he's been going for in this matchup. Mostly, I think, due to the fact that Zergs have gotten better at dealing with that mass army. Really, Out of all units we're abducting the Observer? There's still one available in his army too. I guess if there's no detection, it's gonna be quite strong for those lurkers, but the disruptors are still gonna be able to roll down relatively easily. Abductions, beautiful. If you abduct a unit, it cancels the Purification Nova. Okay, Zergling's coming in clutch once again, though. Ay, these backstabs are huge. That is all the ground units gone. Like, there's literally no ground unit available anymore with this army here for hero, and that was an expensive set of units to lose. Just carriers with a mothership alone, above, like, Platinum League, really does not work. You need to have those supportive units on the ground, especially High Templar and especially Disruptors, and we just saw 5 High Templar and 8 Disruptors going down. Well, maybe not all in one go. We saw a couple of the Vipers, I guess, abducting some of those units earlier, but there's no denying that right now, yeah, going into Corruptors is pretty amazing here. So Reynor going from Hydra Lurker Ling into Corruptors instead. Corruptors are really the ultimate unit to kill those carriers. Obviously, the flyer attacks, though, in this particular game are going to be quite a bit later. Same can be said, I guess, for hero, though, because hero also has not really been upgrading his units very well. Banelings get spotted here for, I believe, the very first time in this game. Maybe they were used in one of those previous battles, but at the very least, now hero knows that that is something he needs to worry about. Because even though he hasn't seen any of those roly-polies heading towards his mineral lines just yet, you always gotta be careful. You never know when they're coming out. Okay. Yeah, Lurkers dealing right now with the Zealot runbys, but this army here is still looking mighty fine, though. We do need a couple of good storms. Hello. Okay, we did see a feedback. Oracle ended up going down over there. Fair enough. Void Rays added into the mix, too. I really don't like the timing of these upgrades. I feel like these Cyber Cores have been on idle for quite a while. Now, obviously, there's a lot happening in this game. Look at the actions per minute. Oh my god, what? 639 average actions per minute? Okay. That is more than 10 buttons a second on average in this game so far. He's like... he's nearly doubling his opponent's APM. That's wild. Anyhow. Really? That is so fast. Yeah, so Reynor... Well, I guess he's not in Korea right now, but he's been practicing over in Korea, and apparently he feels like he's in the best shape of his life. I wonder if that is due to the fact that he's now playing faster than I've ever seen him playing before. I've had the chance to watch Reynor play in first person many times before. And the kid is fast. Like, if you see him play, he's really, really fast. Like, I've seen a lot of StarCraft players play over the years, but especially Reynor and Clem. Those guys are incredibly quick. Now, obviously, you gotta take it with a grain of salt because of keyboard repeat rates. And, you know, if you make a group of Zerglings, you just hold down the Z button. And every single time you make a group, it's registered as a single action. So, you know, it's not like he's actually... But he's still playing, like, you know, like people were telling me, oh, no, it's not, it's a repeat rate, blah, blah, blah. But this is also someone playing insanely quick. Anyways, a recall will be used over here to get a couple of carriers back into the main base because Zerglings, yeah, are sneaking in. While I really did like hero maxing out the first time around, he was showcasing some very stellar control. This is now starting to really... yeah, fall out of his hands, right? Like, we're getting to the point where I feel like Reynor has had control of whatever he likes to do for a while. Now, obviously, Protoss has been macroing on a lot of bases. He's once again trying to secure another base, and it's not like Zerg has a lot of eco either. We are getting into Spore Crawler territory now, but we don't really have that many yet. Yeah, only 12 of them available at this point. 5 more are coming up. Greater Spire also morphing in there for Reynor. But he's got this scary hit squad of units, right? This is like an abduction squad right over here. This is the Zerg mini... Okay, no, it's not the mini... Anyway, he's here to abduct the carriers. That's, I guess, why the High Templar here are leading the charge. You gotta be so cautious, though. You want to have the High Templar in the right position so you can feedback and storm, but you also don't want them so far forward that they get picked off for free, right? It's a delicate dance. They're very slow units, too, so... easier said than done. I was gonna say, I don't think this is the point in the game to go for Archon drops, but maybe I'm mistaken. Where are you guys going? Anyhow. Good feedback, once again. So feedback outranges Vipers. So theoretically, heroes should always be able to get those feedbacks done, but easier said than done. Storm. Okay. Very nice. Very nice right there by hero. Good control. Where's that mothership, by the way? Is it still alive? Did we really lose it and I missed it? Nice. Minus 400, minus 400, but maybe I did see it. I don't know. Anyways, maybe it didn't register anymore because it dies pretty much every single game, right? No one was surprised. This is... yeah, now that that base is finally acquired, rather painful here. Zerglings with +3 and adrenal glands are also, yeah, very high in damage per second. So, that base is gone. 19 probes as well, actually. That's huge. Okay, so where are we gonna go from here? So hero has basically put all of his eggs in one basket to make this, right? This is his army right now. It's a very expensive army, especially compared to the Zerg. But Reynor has a lot of money in the bank to constantly remax as well. Couple of Brute Lords available to just throw as many of those Brutelings as they possibly can to try and keep that ground army of the Protoss at bay. As soon as the Archons are gone, as soon as the High Templar are gone, the Corruptors can go in. Parasitic Bombs, though, dealing some nice supplemental damage too. Absolutely no splits here from the Protoss. As a matter of fact, he's grouping his units even closer together. Hello. That is not what you want to do, man. But does it really matter, though? Those storms are, yeah, very juicy. He's taken out a lot of the units. Now we're starting to target fire down the Corruptors one at a time as well. No more ground units available here for the Protoss player. He just stood there and ate all of those parasitic bombs. That was kind of wild. And he actually does, yeah, take a nice lead over here. Protoss units reinforcing his army as well. Only a handful, but he's got to be careful, man. You got to recall and get him out of there, or at the very least, you know, fly back home. This is where those Corruptors are spawning. There's 26 on the production tab and a lot of them available already. Bro, you got to recall. You need to get out of there. What? Really? Bro, what are we doing? Yeah, I have no explanation. I mean, it did recall a little bit ago, but it's definitely off cooldown again already. What? He just stood there and lost all of his units. Like, he must have realized that there were gonna be Zerg reinforcements coming in, right? Even Reynor seemed a little bit surprised right there. He's like, wait, really? Like, Reynor flying back home right now, too. He's like, wait, what's going on? Wait. Interesting. So, we saw about 10 carriers going down. And I think 8 of those could have stayed alive. Carriers are incredibly expensive units. Now the Mama ship is coming up once again. I have no I'm gonna go back. Sorry, I'm gonna go back for a moment. Okay, so... this is that engagement where the Protoss ends up cleaning out basically all of the Zerg units. So this was already a bit of a dicey fight. Not particularly... yeah, great for the Zerg, obviously. He ends up losing a lot of his Corruptors. 12 of them in total. But hero must have noticed that a lot of them also went in the back, right? And he must realize at this point that as soon as Zerg starts losing stuff, they will start reinforcing as well. So you have about a minute or so until the reinforcing Corruptors come out. Yeah, he just stays. The only explanation here that I have is that maybe he assumed that the Zerg didn't have enough of a bank. Or maybe he thought he still had a little bit of time because he killed all of his opponent's Corruptors, but Reynor disengaged about halfway through that engagement and kept, like, quite a nice chunk of those units alive. So maybe he thought he would have a little bit more time. But that was... there were multiple occasions for him to get on out of there and to recall and, you know, even just fly back home. Okay. So that's like 80 supply of Protoss down the drain, it seems. Couple of lurkers being annoying here down south. Significant misread right there from hero, but maybe he can still stay alive. The problem is, right, we already saw that there was Brute Lord tech. There's a lot of gas still in the bank here for the Zerg as well. I don't think when you see this many Corruptors that you think of going back into carrier production and Void Rays and all that. So I wouldn't mind it if Reynor decided to just go for a full Brute Lord transition. Because the odds of the opponent right now just going into Stalkers, for example, yeah, it's a rather nice chance. So, I mean, this is still a healthy chunk of you know, ground units here for Protoss. Obviously, the Corruptors don't really serve much of a function other than, well, morphing into Brutes. We did see a couple of lurkers coming up here instead, so Reynor playing this as cautious as he can. Yeah, remaxing here, this is a little bit awkward though, because he now has 32 corruptors. Oh no. Oh no. Jeez. Almost enough corruptors to one-shot the mama ship. Couple of Vipers left by themselves. Rather sloppy. But yeah, here's the mass caustic spray. And that hurts. That is a lot of damage. Look at that. Zerglings in the meantime. Going to town. No cancel. Going to town on that Nexus here as well. That was 400 minerals down the drain. And I think that hero is falling apart. He's been doing a great job overall in this game. But he's making some critical errors. Sometimes the pressure becomes a little bit too much, right? Where one mistake leads to the next mistake, and then to the next mistake, and then to the next mistake. But none of the mistakes are big enough to actually, to just GG out of the game right away. So he's still, yeah, he thinks he has a chance at this point, but his supply is quite literally doubled here by the Zerg. We're talking 45 army supply versus 132. Now again, a lot of that supply is caught up in units that aren't particularly useful in this fight, but I mean, Stalkers against fully upgraded Zerglings, Hydras, and Lurkers? Yeah, no. hero knows now that there's absolutely no way for him to stop the swarm, and he decides to tap out.